Hello, I'm Joan Stensler. I'm a communication design strategist, relationship breakthrough coach, and a holistic psychotherapist in practice in New York City for the past 30 plus years. And I'm delighted you're here to join me today, either live or virtually, for my masterclass on having wonderful conversations over the holidays. It's called From Awkward to Awesome, Transforming Holiday Conversations. Let's jump right in. Holidays are supposed to be times of joy and gratitude and celebration, right? Well, not always. Hallmark wants you to believe that it's always wonderful, and yet there's so many different things that make the holidays a really, really stressful time of year. The shopping, the preparation, having people over, getting the presents ready, sending them out if you're sending them out in the mail. Anything that relates to the preparation for having people over the house you haven't seen in quite a while can be very stressful. That's the first thing. The second thing is that very often it is around the holidays that we feel the most recollection of the loss that we've experienced in the past when people that are near and dear to us have passed away or have changed their location. Perhaps they've moved somewhere else, or even if we've had some kind of falling out with them, we haven't spoken with them for a while. So the holidays can bring up all of that. And also for people who have passed, the holidays can remind us of who used to be there, who's not there now. I've had so many people that I've worked with, so many patients and so many clients talk about how much they've felt hesitant to go to that holiday celebration. And part of it's because they don't want to have to put on a happy face if they're not feeling happy, but they also may not want to be in the presence of other people that are in a better mood if they're not feeling well themselves. The other reason why people hesitate, which is the subject of this masterclass tonight, the other reason why people hesitate to go to a holiday function is that they worry that some inappropriate or rude relative will say or do something that will directly upset them or will upset the peace and joy and comfort level of everyone at this particular function. So that's why I've created this guide, From Awkward to Awesome, Transforming Holiday Conversations. It's designed to help you prepare for meaningful conversations, set boundaries and respond appropriately at the table, and decide when to engage with somebody and then when to let it go. And those two are really important options to keep in mind that we all have available to us. Here's a three-step process for addressing awkward situations. Number one, size up the situation. Number two, consider your audience. Number three, decide how you want to respond. And number four, initiate a response or decide not to and let it go and shift your focus. Let's go over these steps one at a time. Size up the situation is step one. Ask yourself, how serious is this? Is it something that's small enough that I can let it go, or important enough that I feel that I need to say something? The second part of that is, if I need to say something, do I need to say something in front of everyone at the holiday gathering, or is it something that I feel I want to address, but I'd rather do it privately after we have the gathering? Step two, what is your sense of the person or people in question? The people who generally cause trouble. I like to refer to these people as communication saboteurs because they knowingly, willingly, and intentionally say things or do things that's going to stir the pot, that's going to upset other people, and it's going to cause chaos. So if they're not a saboteur, it's a very different way of approaching the situation than if they are. So figure out what they're like from what you know of them. What's your sense? Are they just saying something that might sound thoughtless, but they didn't mean anything by it? If that's the case, my suggestion is by all means, try to find a way to just not respond to it. You may have an internal response, but let go of the need to say something in that moment. Decide how you want to respond. If you're hosting a holiday party and you know someone is, normally there with you, but someone that has repeatedly caused trouble in the past, what you might want to do as the host is set up a private time to speak with them and let them know how you feel and let them know that you are determined to have a really peaceful, relaxing, and enjoyable experience for everyone. And that you know that there are times when they kind of enjoy kind of getting a rise out of people, and that you'd like them to understand and respect that that's not something you want to have happen this year. And then ask them, can you agree to that? And if they can't, you can say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to invite you this year. Now, that may sound a little bit harsh to people, but the truth is, it's a healthy way to set boundaries with someone who has none. Because someone that's a saboteur doesn't have any regard for the other person, doesn't have any regard for the effect that they have on the entire room, and does whatever they want. So if it's your party and it's your house and you're the host, you have a right to say, I'm sorry, that's not what I want. Okay. Hang on one second. Okay, I am back. And step 4, speak up or let it go. Do you want to say something or do you not? And what's going to determine that? If someone directly challenges you or is directly disrespectful in front of you at the table and you feel you cannot avoid saying something, then say something like, that was uncalled for, or I didn't appreciate that, or this is not the place for that. And then just stop and see what they do. Because if you say something like that and they stop, that's all you need to do. If they continue and you're not the host, then it's really the host's place to step in and say, what do you think you're doing? You're at my house. You're a guest. This is no way to act here. Please stop it. If the nature of the situation does not rise to that level, then find a way to say to yourself, I'm not going to fuel this with my energy or my attention. I'm going to shift my focus. Even if I'm a little uncomfortable with what happened, I'm going to shift my focus and let it go. Okay. Okay. Now, there are some very common situations that occur, very unpleasant ones that happen when someone is a communication saboteur or has saboteur tendencies. Let's take a look at these. I'm sure you've experienced many of these or know about people who have. Number 1, giving unsolicited advice. Number 2, asking very personal questions. Both of those reflect that the person who is making the comment has really poor boundaries because they're doing something irregardless of how it's going to make someone else feel and not taking that into account. Here's some more. Bringing up controversial topics. As I mentioned before, sometimes people will do this just because they want to talk. And sometimes people will do it because they're looking to stir the pot. They want to try to get a rise out of someone. And they may even want to try to create a little bit of conflict at the table. Now, if it's your house, you have a right to say, this is not appropriate here. Let's not get into that conversation tonight. If someone interrupts you or cuts you off, that can be very challenging. Sometimes people interrupt you because they're really excited and they want to say something and they don't want to forget. But that's a very different reason for interrupting you than if they're just a very poor listener and they can't let you finish and they just keep interrupting you because they don't like what you were saying. Also, some people like to start an argument at the table or end up creating an argument because of some friction that they have with someone at the table, likely from before this particular occasion. It's probably something that's historical. So just keeping that in mind, those types of things can sometimes rear their ugly head again. Refusing to listen when you speak, this is really disrespectful. Now, sometimes what this looks like is if you're talking to somebody, if they act like they're ignoring you, or if you're speaking to the group and the person sitting near you turns away from you and then starts talking to someone else while you're speaking. So there are different ways that this happens. Listening is an extremely important part of communication. Without listening, there is no communication. So listening is something that will often make people feel comfortable or really very uncomfortable if others don't show a willingness to listen. Okay, and the last two, ignoring others who are present, another way to be a rude person, or being rude to the host or the guests. Now, I have a whole other system I'm going to tell you about in a second. I just want to say as an overall explanation of these types of situations, how you respond really depends directly on the context in which it's happening and what the person's intention is. So one of the ways to evaluate what you might do is to look at the situation and ask yourself, what is the person's intention behind acting this way? Is it just that they're someone who likes to talk about unpleasant things and just does it because that's what they do? Or are they doing it purposely to create a problem? Those two are very different. Now, if the comment they've made is thoughtless but no harm is intended, it's a very different thing than if they're doing it purposely to give someone agita or to try and create conflict at the table. And by now, based on the people you've known over the years that have been at different holiday functions, you have an idea of who is going to likely start trouble and who is just going to do it because they just don't think about it. Here's a 5-point strategic response system that really works every time. And you take one step at a time and you apply it to a given situation, and then you can decide what you want to do. So step one is choose to ignore it. When something dumb or disruptive is said, if it's at all possible, avoid giving it any attention, avoid giving it any of your energy. And in fact, if you can, act as if you didn't even hear it. And you don't want to do that in a way that makes the person feel like you're ignoring them, but just go on with whatever else is being said and go talk about something else. Okay, so here are some ways that you can do that. The second one is redirect the conversation. Say something in response to comments made at the table that will shift the focus of the conversation and redirect those present to join you in a different conversation. The third one, create a distraction. This is a specific form of redirection that gives everyone something else to focus on. So, for example, hey, dinner isn't ready yet. Why don't we go inside and play Monopoly? Or dinner isn't ready yet. Why don't we go outside and play football? Step 4, or rather point 4, make a respectful statement. Now, if you are the host, this is really the person to do this. If they feel it's necessary, it would be something you would say at the start of the event. And you might say something like, I'm so happy we're all gathered here together today. It's another wonderful opportunity for us to spend time together, enjoy each other's company, and reminisce about different wonderful things we've done together. And I just want to say, it's my intention and my desire to have this be a peaceful, comfortable, and pleasant experience. And so I'm just putting it out there to everyone. I'd like you, each of you, to do your best to make this a positive experience for the group of us. And the last point comes when you're talking about a situation where someone is just plain stubborn, pig-headed, and really does not have an interest in being part of a collaboration to make the event a peaceful and enjoyable one. And what you do then, if you're the host, is you take the person aside either in person or you have a phone call with them and you let them know very clearly in no uncertain terms that you are very determined to have a peaceful, enjoyable holiday. And you know that they sometimes kind of find it funny to tease one of the people at the table or to, continue to say things that they know are irritating to set someone off, and that you are letting them know very clearly, this is going to be my party, and that's not something that we want at our party. So in order to be clear with you and in order to know that we are on the same page, I need to ask you, is that something you will do? And if they come and they haw and they hesitate and don't give you a clear answer, then you can very, very understandably say to them, you know what, if that's not something you're able to do, then I hope you have a wonderful holiday, but you're just not going to be able to share it with us. And then move on from there. Because if you're the host, you want to create an atmosphere, you want things to continue to feel good, and you want people to enjoy themselves when they come to your house. So now I have a question to ask you. Do you struggle to have difficult conversations with your loved ones? Do you choose to remain silent to avoid conflict? Are you worried that you'll be dismissed or contradicted by one of those people in your next holiday function? And are you aware, do you know when it's safe to engage in a conversation and when it's not? If you find yourself tongue-tied and unsure of how to handle sticky situations, I would love to offer you, I am offering you a free 30-minute communication strategy session. You'll be able to address one communication issue, one situation in which that comes up, and more than likely with a specific person in mind. You'll learn actionable strategies to approach it with confidence, and you'll walk away with a personalized script that I will help you write for how to respond in the moment to that person. And if that person is a communication saboteur, I will also share with you different reasons why it's probably better not to even respond to them. And how to do that in an assertive way that you feel will be the best choice for you. Interested in learning more? Well, then click on the link on this page or copy and paste it and then schedule a session with me when we'll be able to talk about this communication challenge that you have. I'll be happy to workshop it with you, to take a look at it together and find some solutions that will help your holiday be peaceful, joyful, and wonderful. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Take care and have a beautiful, peaceful, joyful, relaxing holiday and a happy, healthy new year. Bye for now.